Good morning and welcome back to this morning's episode of Good Morning Greyhounds. I'm Caden Colford, your host for today, and you might recognize me from other Uindy TV production called Last Call. That is because we have two very special coaches in the studio this morning to talk all things Greyhound basketball. Thank you for joining us. Caden Colford here with head coach of the men's basketball team, Scott Heady. Coach Heady, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've had an exciting start to this season, 4 games in, and as you said, all of them have gone down to the final play. So I want to get right into it and ask you, first season with the Greyhounds, you're 4 games in like we said, and 4 exciting games, 2 on the road, 2 at home. How's the fit been so far for you?
Well, it's been great, but it's early, and as you said, we're 4 games in, and 4 close games against good teams. Our non-conference schedule is got to be ranked as one of probably the top 5 in the country, and so that's only going to prepare us, for the conference season. So, but a lot of positive things. But definitely a lot of things, we need to work on. And the good thing is our guys realize that, and so we're just coming in every day and trying to get better every day.
And so we'll kind of rewind. You step into the organization. You're at the helm of a Division II program for the first time in at least your coaching career after coaching at the high school level, coaching at Marion for a long time, and having a lot of success wherever you go. But to come back to Uindy, that's got to feel pretty special, right? You and your wife both being alumni of the school, so you come back home to a place that you played and you get to coach. What's that experience like?
Well, obviously it's special, to be able to come back. And I'm a little bit toward the end of my career. If you want to, use the golf analogy, I'm on the back 9 probably of my career, this is a place where, we have everything here to win, I think, we just got to roll up our sleeves and work. And so my family's excited. Obviously, I'm excited to come back. A lot of success across the board in the athletic programs here for years, and obviously in basketball. So we're just looking to build on it, just excited to be here and be a part of the university, and obviously to get the basketball program, really to another level.
And as we look at your first couple of days as coach, it's not exactly the situation where you were spoon-fed 15 guys ready to come and play. I remember at your press conference, I think Zach Shule and Dylan Ingram were the 2 there from last year's squad, and obviously you bring back Kelvin and some other guys, but you had to go out and really assemble a team together. What was that scramble like?
Well, it's not something you want to do every year.
That's for sure.
Obviously, we started in mid-April with 2 players that had any experience at all. Both were kind of, came off the bench. But if you look at from a stat standpoint, we returned 7 points and 3 rebounds, from last year's team, and so we had to get to work, immediately, and we brought in 10 new players, and I think 8 out of the portal. So you don't want to recruit that heavily out of the portal every year, obviously. Our plan is going to be to recruit high school players first that are going to come in and develop and be a part of your culture, and that they can grow and develop and then plug in those guys that you need out of the portal each year. So that was a different, experience, and we had to not only do that but hire an entire new staff. So that April, May into the summer it was busy, obviously, and we had to get a lot of things done quickly. But I think we've done a pretty good job. I like our team. I like our staff. They're working extremely hard. But when you bring in 8 guys from 8 different programs, they've all been coached, a certain way. Those cultures are all different. The X's and O's and the game plans are all different, and where they've come from. So to get them to blend is the challenge, and that's, I say we're still a work in progress, because we really are.
And obviously, a lot of us are on the outside looking in on your team. I remember the first game against Wesleyan. You have the alley-oop to end the game, and that really kind of put the period on the sentence for me that this team is fun. And that's me as a fan and maybe as an analyst, but how would you describe your roster?
Yeah, I think, we still got work to do. There's no question from a standpoint of execution. But they come every day, and they work, and they compete. And there's a lot of personalities, and as you said, I think if you watch our team, they have fun. They have fun playing and competing. And so we've never really, after practice as a staff, had to come in and say, man, we're not getting after it. We're not competing. We're not playing hard, or our attitudes aren't right. They come every day with good attitudes. They're working hard. The challenge is for us to continue just to kind of blend and come together, which I think that's a normal process. And so all we can do is come in every day and try to get better in those those areas.
And that has to be tough to navigate as a coach, let alone a first-year coach at this level. A lot of different personalities. You have guys coming from Eastern Kentucky at the Division I level, guys coming with you from Marion. So, like you said, a lot of different personalities, different players, different backgrounds. What does that process look like in the locker room as these guys get to know each other, get to get on the floor for the first time together?
Well, I think it all started, this summer. We had everybody in this summer to work camps and things, and I felt like that was a really good opportunity to get them all together rather than to wait and they come in August and they don't know each other. So that was kind of the start. And, we tried to do a lot of things off the court, and the road trip, that was a long road trip this past week, even though, we lost, 2 games. I felt like there were still some positives that we were able to, spend some time together and go through the things that you have to go through on the road trip, and losing the games and having to come back and we got to sit in it for a week now. We lost 2 tough games that you flip a possession in each game. We could be coming home 4-0 and thinking, hey, we're pretty good, but you're not any better. You're 2 possessions better, and so it might be better for us to kind of sit in this for a week because we don't play till next Wednesday, and maybe that's going to get our attention. So, but I think all we can do is continue to try to be a collective together unit. We talk to our guys all the time about being the best teammate you can be coachable, come every day with a positive attitude, and if you're doing those things, then I think good things are going to happen.
And I don't want to make excuses for your team, but you look at the schedule, and Wesleyan's always top 8 in the region rankings. Lake Superior State is going. It looks like they're going to be one of the top teams in the region this year. So it's not like you've been spoon-fed a schedule either to this point. But those 4 games in, 4 tough games. What's your biggest takeaway so far?
Well, I think we just have to put 40 minutes together. If you look at the first 2 wins, I mean, I don't think we really played. And I didn't expect us to be at our best, but I think defensively we have some work to do. And then the 2 games this last weekend, I just think we weren't consistent. We had a really good first half at Lake Superior State, but then the second half just kind of flipped. And we kind of let it come down to that last possession in both games. And we talked to our guys about, hey, we gotta take care of things throughout the game and be better throughout the game. And it's not going to come down to that last possession where you need to stop or you need to score. And so, but I think for us right now, it's the defensive end has got to be better. That's what we build on. We talk a lot about being solid defensively, and then winning the possession battle of getting to the free throw line, limiting turnovers, and winning the rebound battle. And if you can do those things and you're solid defensively, you're always going to have a chance to win. And we're just kind of inconsistent in those areas right now. And I think we can be really good in those areas. And when we get to that point, I think we have a chance to be a really good basketball team. And
you come into a program with some high standards and a history of winning at that. And obviously, as a coach, that's a lot to bear on your shoulders in the first year, assembling nearly entirely new team. And as you kind of get things going, how have you adjusted those standards? How have you looked at those, and what do you expect of yourself in this team?
Well, I think there's 4 things that we as coaches do. I mean, we recruit, we build a culture, a winning culture, you set high expectations, and then you hold the program accountable. And so, that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. Building a culture, it takes time, especially with a lot of new guys. You can win with talent, but you're not going to win championships unless you have that, that enough talent that goes along with the character and the culture. And so that culture is something that we're building every day. And so, that's kind of what we're working on. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of winning. It's not, my winning, it's players win games. I truly believe players win games, programs win games, culture wins games. But I have been, fortunate to be around programs that have won at a high level because I think we've recruited the right guys and built the right culture, had enough talent, but we had the right culture, and that's what we're building here.
And for any Greyhound students, anybody in the community who hasn't been to a game yet, that's thinking about it, what would you have to say to entice them to come to Nickerson Hall to watch your team?
Well, I think they're going to have fun. I think it's going to be. I think we have a team that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And obviously, we have to do our part and win, because I think people want to come and watch teams that win.
Right.
That's let's be honest. So we have to do our part to put a product on the floor that a team that I don't know. I don't like the term fun to watch.
Okay.
But I'd rather say a team that really competes and plays together and is maybe in that way fun to watch. But we've got a good group of guys who are going to compete. We're going to represent the university in a first-class manner, and I think as we continue to, like I say, as we continue to come together and build our culture, I think good things are going to happen. I'm excited about this team. This is not a build of it's going to take it 2 or 3 years. I think we can win right now with the guys we have that we've brought in. I'm excited about this team, but I think again, as long as we continue to work. I've used the term where we are a work in progress, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of positive things going on with this team. So, yeah, I think we want our campus excited about this team, and I would encourage everyone to come out and see us play. And I think if they come out and they watch us play, they're going to think, hey, that was a team that competes and plays together.
And for a head coach at this level, this is about as full-time as a full-time job can get. You're looking at 6, sometimes 7 days a week and pretty long hours in the coaching office, film, this, that. But who is Coach Heady off the floor?
Well, I try to, leave it off the floor, I mean, I've got a family. My wife, Amy, is extremely supportive, and, and my family is very supportive, but, off the court, I think I'm very laid back. I think probably you would think I'm kind of quiet, laid back. I think as a coach, I'm a totally different person. But I think that's what you have to be. You got to be able to kind of off the court, kind of get away from it. And it's hard to do, but you have to kind of compartmentalize. And once you leave here, I try not to take it home as much as I can. And but it is difficult because it is the job is your life. I mean it is, and because you're basically taking care of 15 guys and a staff, and my job is to make sure that we all have a vision, we all have a clear-cut vision, we know where we want to go, we know how we're going to get there, and then build that culture and every day, live that. And just try to get better every day, and that's really my job.
And it's no secret, you come from a household where basketball is always atop the pedestal, right? I mean, you look at your dad, as successful as he was in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, and you look at yourself now as you've amassed this career for yourself that you're going to get there right alongside with him, and you look back at your family. And you grew up in that same household. What does it mean to have a supportive family behind you?
Oh, it's great. And you mentioned, Dad's been great. I mean, I grew up, from when I could walk, going to the gym every day. So I've been in the gym, pretty much every day from when I can remember. So having him, as I was growing up, just being around that environment and growing up in it, in that coaching family has been incredible for me. We've been fortunate, Dad was, obviously he's in the Hall of Fame, as you mentioned, and he, as a high school coach, took 2 different programs to the state finals. One of those years I was playing for him in high school. And then, I've just been fortunate to be in situations where, in just like Uindy, that, the program is important, and you have resources and you have support, and you have everything there to win. And so I've been very fortunate to be in situations where, you work, the winning's going to come if you work. And so, and I was talking the other day, our kids, we've been so fortunate. My son Luke I coached him 2 years in high school, and, he wins a state championship at Carmel. And then in 4 years, he was, with us at Marion, and we were able to go to the national tournament all 7 years. And he was, 4 of those years, he was on those teams. So we've been very fortunate, to be around great situations. And basketball obviously has been a big part of our life. It doesn't define us as a family, but it has definitely been given us a lot of, great memories, and we've enjoyed a lot of success together.
And looking into that relationship with your dad, obviously it has to be a competitive household, right? I imagine there was a lot of one-on-one played, and I imagine you guys kind of look back on your respective careers. Is there anything that either of you hold over the other's head that I've done this, you haven't?
Well, I will say this, when I was just got into coaching, high school coaching, and I was the youngest 4A head coach in Indiana when I took the job at Connorsville. And my dad was coaching at Carmel at the time. And then 2 years later, I went to Warren Central. And in both those situations, we played Carmel. And so for 4 years, all right, during, when we were coaching against each other, we played, I think, five times. I think we played 5 times. And I don't say this very often, and I don't bring this up, but we were 0-5 against those teams.
Really?
We didn't lose very often, but for whatever reason, we were 0-5. And I think if you would ask him, he would probably say he'd give up those five wins. But it was that would be the one thing. I think that's kind of a trivia question, maybe. We were 0-5 against those teams. So I still don't. We don't talk about that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said in the back 9 of your coaching career, but no matter how long you play, how long you coach, you never lose that competitiveness. How do you stay competitive through after years and years? How do you keep that same fire?
Well, I think it's the people you're around. Here, I'm so excited. We just, hired, Kim Pate as our athletic director. I'm so looking forward to working with her. The players that we have, we just got, they're just high character people. The coaches that we have that I get to work with every day. I think it's the people that you're around every day that you get to enjoy it and work with. That's what keeps you going. But yeah, I think obviously I'm at the end of my career, and as long as I've got the energy, and I have as much energy and passion that I've ever had, and as long as I have that, I'm going to continue to do this. If you don't have it, then you don't want to do this. Believe me, you better have the passion, and you better want to come in every day, and because it is there's long days, and you're dealing with a lot of things. But I enjoy it, and I think coaching has given me the opportunity to still compete. And so as long as I have that burning desire to compete, I'm going to do this, and so just come in every day and just excited to be here and fortunate to be in this situation, to coach at Uindy and to be a part of this athletic department and this university is a true privilege, and it's a great feeling.
So I know all of us are excited not only to watch your team played this season, but to cover all the games, provide a broadcast on the GLVC Sports Network, we're elated, and we'll have you for another 20 years if you want to stay here at the University of Indianapolis for another 20 years. But what should the University of Indianapolis expect from your team throughout the rest of the season, and what would you define as a success?
Well, I think one is we're going to come every night and compete. I think that's first and foremost, that we're going to compete. We're going to do things the right way. I can see this team really getting better and progressing. Like I said, we're 2 possessions away from having a really good start, being 4-0. Now, would 4-0 help us maybe with some confidence and maybe a little bit of more buy-in? Yeah, maybe. But the other side of that is maybe those 2 losses get our attention, and now this week we have a better week of practice. So I think we're going to get better each week, and with, like I say, with so many new guys, so many new pieces, everything's new to every player in the program. It's all new to them, and so it's going to take time. But as long as we come every day, with everybody, like I said, with the same clear vision, that we continue to build our culture, and that we come every day to work, then good things are going to happen.
Awesome, Coach. Well, it's been amazing talking to you. I'm glad we got to sit down and have this conversation. And like I said, we're all excited to watch your team play this season. Well, it was a pleasure again to have you on, and thank you to you for watching this week's episode of Good Morning Greyhounds. Tune in to the rest of our weekly Uindy TV productions this week on our Uindy TV YouTube channel and Xfinity channel 1096. Until next time.